Hey traders, Ethan Roberts here from Mastering TQQQ Trading. You know, on Monday, November 3rd, we had a day where we gapped up in the morning and then spent the rest of the day seeing TQQQ sell off. Today, November 4th, we had just the opposite, where we had a very down opening and then we proceeded to come back. And then, of course, it sold off again in the afternoon. But what I'm going to tell you about today is how you can trade the bottom for huge profits in a very short period of time. So stay tuned. Well, before we start, I want to announce that I just got my 100th YouTube subscriber on this channel. And as a fairly new channel, I am quite happy for all of the support that I'm receiving from my viewers. So thank you very much. Now, yesterday I told you how it's quite risky to buy TQQQ after it gaps up a significant amount at the opening bell. And I'll put the link to that video below this one. Today, however, I'm going to bring you the opposite scenario and tell you how you can make a very nice profit in a short amount of time with a real-life example from the action that we saw today. Now, occasionally, we get a sell-off on TQQQ in the pre-market, and it can open anywhere from $2 to $6 below the previous closing price. Remember that this is one very volatile exchange-traded fund, or ETF, so it's not uncommon to see an opening where we're down $3, $4, $5 like we were today. However, these are excellent scenarios for profitable buys, but only for quick trades of no more than, say, 30 to 60 minutes. We don't want to hang in there the whole day, as I'm going to show you why in a minute, and we certainly don't want to hold it over for the next day. But the reason this strategy works so well is because the selling usually dries up fairly soon after the opening, and then new buyers come in, which has the effect of reversing the downtrend. Well, on November 4th, 2025, TQQQ opens at $113.36, just about $5 below its closing price of $118.32 the previous day. That is a big drop. And opening so far down, the daily RSI 14 actually hit 11. Now remember, 30 is oversold, and anything below 25 is most always followed by a reversal. At that time, the stochastic oscillator was at 2. Now oversold on the stochastic is 20, and the closer we get to 0, the better. So this was a prime scenario for trading an oversold short-term condition for a bounce-back profit. Now look at the results of buying the bottom. Here was the first candle, here's the second one, and we go all the way up from there. Now the absolute low in the first 5-minute candlestick, that's this one right here, was $112.28, and you know, it was only 8 cents below the opening price. But after that, it moved up and it closed at $112.46. Well, the second candle, that's this one here in green, it also opened at $112.46, same as the closing price of the last candlestick. It proceeded to test the low again, this time down to $112.29, just a penny above the first low. And then it rose and then ended up closing at $112.64. Well, from there it was off to the races with TQQQ moving higher, and by 10 a.m. it had actually touched $115.25. Well, that is a $3 per share move in only 25 minutes. So imagine if you traded near that low, how much money you could have made in a very short period of time. Half an hour later, if you hung in there, it actually went up and hit a high of $115.41. But you know, when it starts to move sideways like this, sometimes it's better just to take your profit. Now, at this point, TQQQ began trading sideways before finally selling off, and it went all the way down until it hit a new daily low of $111.08 just about 2:45 p.m. So that's a long way down from the $115.41 we saw at the top. So don't get greedy. The takeaway here is if you can get $1 to $3 per share on your trade from the bottom, especially on a down day, take your profits, be happy, and get out when the momentum starts to wane. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And just a reminder, I recently created a TQQQ daily newsletter. And before I did that, you know, I ran a Google search to see if there's any other newsletters devoted exclusively to the TQQQ. And you know what Google said? They said, no, there do not appear to be newsletters devoted exclusively to TQQQ. Well, now there is one, Mr. Google. The Mastering TQQQ Daily Newsletter. And if any viewer would like to try a free copy of my newsletter, click the link below this video and I'll send you one along with information on how to subscribe. And with that, I want to wish you all a great day of trading, and I'll see you again soon.